Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know, my name is Soraya, and as you can tell by the title of this video, I will be talking about how I manifested getting into my dream school. Had to dust out the old sweatshirt for this one from my alma mater. I went to NYU, New York University, and I kind of just wanted to share about how getting into your dream school is a lot more than just getting great grades or good grades and doing a bunch of activities. It's being a full packaged, well-rounded student. So I want to get into some of the ways that I think helped me get into my dream university in case it's helpful for anyone else out there that's looking to apply to their dream school. One thing that I think helped me get into NYU specifically was that I actually toured the university a year prior to ever even attending. So I actually had a video that I posted on my page as well where essentially my mom and I toured the university around April, so it was my junior year.
NYU campus, aka my future home. I live for this. Total tourist right now, but whatever. This is my dream school, NYU.
Yeah, we got a really great tour of the campus, got to see the layout of what it was that I would be doing, where I would be eating and possibly sleeping and all of these different things. And so it was great to kind of just get a feel of what the campus was like, what students were there. That was really nice to see like students walking around and just getting a feel for like the energy of the city, the campus, because it's all kind of like embedded into one. And I just really enjoyed that process of seeing what the university had to offer. So in my essay, I actually got to reference my trip to the university back in April. And I think that actually strengthened my application because I was able to describe the library and just walking around campus and really explain why specifically that school was the one that I wanted to attend. And I think that might have, given me a little bit of a leg up against people that might not have seen the university at all or didn't really understand what the university fully had to offer versus I had that firsthand experience through the tour. I definitely think that during the application process, they're looking for students that have that personal connection to the university. So me having been to the school physically, I think really did help set me apart just a little bit in the sense that I was able to really describe what my experience was like being there. Another aspect that I think definitely helped my application is, of course, being a well-rounded student. So on top of, yes, I got good grades, I took AP classes, I took honors classes, but I also was really involved in my community. I had done a bunch of clubs at my school, whether it was theater or doing Future Business Leaders of America or Amnesty International. I joined a bunch of clubs from like freshman year through senior year. I also made sure that I was involved in my church. Naturally, my parents just had me involved in going to different church events and helping out the community, doing Thanksgiving, food bank drives, just really having some type of level of care and involvement with what your community needs and what was happening, I think was really important. And I definitely think that set me aside in my application as well. A fun part of my application that I think also helped set me apart was that I attended an acting conservatory right after my sophomore year. So I actually did Rutgers Acting Conservatory, their summer program after my sophomore year. So when I was applying for NYU, that is a part of the application process, is they ask you if you have any experience with doing a conservatory, some type of summer conservatory, because I was applying for their acting program and I did have that. So I was able to check that off on my list. And I think they asked that because they want to see if you can handle that level of rigor that is required to do the program that you're applying for. It's 3 days a week for RSAC. Rutgers, it was actually 5 days a week for a month. So it was like a summer intensive. I would definitely say that that prepared me for the program that I was applying for at NYU. Another key aspect was I was very honest in my essays. I know that they have different prompts that they ask. I'm not sure what they are now, but at the time when I was applying, they did ask you to share like a personal story or just something about a time that you had to overcome something. And so I was very honest in my essay, and I shared different trials and tribulations that I had faced at the young age of 17. And it was the good and the bad. And I think they definitely appreciated that level of honesty because, you don't want to give this polished answer all of the time, but I was able to share the good and the bad that had happened to me in my life academically and personally, and how that helped me grow as a person and as a student. I also made sure that I had adults that I trusted read over my essay. So whether that was a guidance counselor, a couple of my English teachers that I really respected, or my mom, a parent, just having someone that can double check your work, give you tips and notes to kind of tweak some things, I think is really helpful versus being like, this is great, no notes. Like, because sometimes we tend to feel that way, and I'm like, no, it needed some notes. And so I think that helped strengthen my essays as well. So for the program that I applied for, I actually had to do an audition. So that included doing 2 monologues and then an interview. So I made sure that if you're doing something for Tisch and you have to do 2 monologues, pick 2 monologues that you love. I picked a serious one, a dramatic one, and a comedic one, and I fell in love with both of those monologues. Especially the serious one, I think I was able to workshop that. I took it to a couple of competitions. Just getting constructive feedback and criticism before auditioning with it was really, really helpful. So I was really embodying both of the characters that I was bringing, and I was able to really give an honest, drop down, raw performance during my audition. I was also able to just allow myself to have fun with it and feel free because it was so embodied and lived in. And so I think it's really helpful to make sure that you practice it and have it be second nature to you, so you don't worry about, oh, am I going to remember it? Am I going to hit my mark? It feels really lived in by the time you do your audition. So that's really, really key. The last thing I would say is apply to different places. I applied to 8 universities. I got into 5 of them. I auditioned, I believe, for 2 of them. But I really made sure that I had other options. I think in terms of manifesting, I knew that NYU was the school that I wanted to go to, but I said, okay, if it doesn't happen, you have to be happy and content with wherever else you go. So I made sure that the 7 other schools that I applied for were just as good in my mind, and I think it was really helpful because it eased the pressure off of me to be like, okay, I have to get into my dream school. And I kind of made each school a part of that dream, or could see it as a part of that dream and see me growing and building myself up as a person. So it was really helpful to not put this pressure of like, I didn't even early decision. I was like, okay, I'm going to apply regular decision and we'll see how it goes. And of course, you know, it was meant to be, and so it worked out. But I made sure that, okay, NYU is going to be considered, you know, you have your safety schools, you have your target schools, and you have your reach schools. This is what I was told. I don't know if it's the same thing now, but it worked for me at the time, and I made sure that NYU felt like a target school for me. I was like, okay, I have the grades, I have the materials, like the criteria. I think that I qualify. And so I made sure that that was considered a target school, not a reach school, and definitely not a safety school. And it felt like the right decision for me. And so I would say, just give yourself options, but all in the part of the manifestation process is really believing in yourself. And I know that sounds cheesy and corny, but it's really true to just really go in with the intention of like, I got this. Like, I don't need to prove myself because I already know my worth. You're great with or without the school, but I knew that, getting into it just felt like a great confirmation for me. And so that is how I was able to manifest getting into my dream university. I hope this was helpful for anyone out there, maybe, waiting to hear back from their dream school, or, maybe hoping to apply next year. I hope that you just really know that it's possible. Like 17-year-old me did not know that, she was going to get into her dream school and it would set me up for success. I use it on, my resumes, and I think it's helped me and served me well. Know that it is possible. You can manifest it if you want it. Happy to answer any more questions that you might have about the audition process, about the application process. It was stressful, but very fun and ultimately worth it in the end. So I hope that in the mix of all the emotions and feelings that you're experiencing, that it feels worth it for you, and know that it all will work out the way that it is meant to. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.